Like Dad wasn't the biggest communicator as such. All I wanted to do is make him proud and to look up in the stands and know that he was proud of me. And then, I guess seeing him dead and in a position of weakness, what do I do now?
From All Black glory to life's toughest battles, Zac Guildford's story is one of highs, lows, and fighting for redemption. In a raw journey of talent, addiction, and transformation, in this cordial, Zac opens up about resilience, mistakes, and what it takes to stand up when the world counts you out.
I was a young fella that thought he knew it all, and I thought, the dream would probably go forever as, contracts kept turning up and more money kept turning up, and I was like, right, I'll get it right this time. By the time I was 30, I had used my last contract over in France and thought I'd duck back home and grab another one. Just wasn't the case, and, people were sort of sick of me walking out on contracts, so I had to dive into the real world, which was a rude awakening.
If you could go back and give 20-year-old Zac some advice.
20-year-old me, I know he had no ears, so it's hard to give advice to that guy. But I'll probably just...
Talofa lava, before we get into today's episode, Zac wants to send some massive love to his whānau, the Walkers, and especially to their incredible mum, Deb Walker, who's currently facing a tough cancer diagnosis. Zac wants to say how much love and appreciation he has for this amazing woman and whānau that stood by him and kept him going through some of the hardest times in his life. Much love to you all. Alofa te leatu. This episode of the Fresh Money Podcast is proudly sponsored by Tangata Tumotu Trust, who have been serving the Pasifika community in Ōtautahi for over 25 years. From health checks to mental wellbeing, youth programs to family support, they know what our Pacific community need, and they deliver it with heart. If you're in Christchurch and need support or want to connect with a team that truly gets it, head to tat.org.nz or call 0800 Pasifika or 0800 727 434. Just a quick note, this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, please make sure you contact a financial advisor to get professional advice. Kia ora, Zac. Welcome to the Fresh Money Podcast. It's an honour to have you on here, man. How are you?
Yeah, good, brother. Kia ora to you too, and thanks for having me. It's awesome to be here, and I'm doing really well. So, once again, I'm looking forward to having a chat.
Mean. Let's kick straight into it. You burst onto the rugby scene as a teenager at the Under-20 World Cup, and then soon after as an All Black. What did that kind of early success feel like?
I never really seen myself as, that professional rugby player. I just like going out there and having a jam with my mates. So I was sort of straight out of school and thrust into the New Zealand Under-19 and then 2 Under-20 World Cups, and in between I made the Hurricanes and was playing a lot for Hawke's Bay as well. So by the age of sort of 18 I was full-time professional. But I really loved playing rugby, but I just sort of see myself as a normal guy out there, running around with his mates. So I guess I didn't really embrace the success. I just love running around and playing rugby, and everything that come with it was a bit of a bonus, really.
Yeah, awesome. Where'd that enjoyment come from? Like, where did you grow up? Was that always part of your life?
Yeah. So my dad played rugby for Greytown, the Wairarapa, and then played for Wairarapa Bush a little bit. So from a very young age, from the age of sort of whenever I could walk or talk, I was holding a rugby ball. I loved following my dad around. I was ball boy for his rugby teams.
Wow.
Played rugby every Saturday morning in the backyard. Every day it was rugby with my cousins, brother, friends across the street. So rugby was sort of life from a very young age. I was watching it, playing it. It was definitely my hyper focus and sort of something I just dove deep into because I loved it.
Yeah, man. And you during the while you were at the Under-20 World Cup, your father passed away while you were playing a game.
So we'd just played England. It was my second Under-20s World Cup.
Wow.
And that was in Japan. So we'd played England in the final. We won quite convincingly. I think it was 44-21 or something like that. We had like Aaron Cruden, Aaron Smith, Robbie Robinson, like a pretty stacked team, eh? So I was lucky to play alongside some really talented individuals. And it was after the game, we would have been lined up for medal about 20 minutes after the game, and I looked up into the stands and Mum was crying, and straight away I knew something had happened to Dad, and he pretty much died instantly from a heart attack in Japan. So that was when my life sort of took a turn, you know. Dad was my role model and someone I really looked up to, obviously, and I've told this story a lot. But yeah, it was sort of a turning point in my life where I kind of got really upset and angry with the world and couldn't make sense of why this had happened.
Yeah, crazy. Because like you were saying before, you know, rugby was your life.
Yeah.
Like, it was what you grew up. It was you loved it, but you followed your dad around, like, and obviously not having him there was a huge hole.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
From an early age.
Yeah, it was a massive hole there left, you know. Like Dad wasn't the biggest communicator as such, but you know, all I wanted to do, even at the age of, I think it was 20 at the time I was, you know, is just to make him proud and to look up in the stands and know that he was proud of me. And then, you know, I guess seeing him dead and in a position that of weakness that I'd never seen my dad in, I was like, well, what do I do now? You know, and I promised Tim on that day that I'd make the All Blacks, and then I think it was 4 months after that I got named in the All Blacks, but wasn't really enough for me to fill that void and deal with that grief. So I sort of carried on autopilot for quite a while there.
Yeah, wow. Because it led down, you know, that hole, it led you down, obviously, you know, path of alcohol and gambling. Was that environment always in your life, and was it kind of exacerbated by, you know, the loss of your father, or?
Yeah, like I was definitely you know, highly into drinking and gambling from even through my teenage years. You know, that's what we seen Dad do. He was a tough rugby player. He, you know, drank beers with his mates on a Saturday night after the game, and then, you know, our family, they love having a punt on the horses, you know, in the weekend. But my dad and family could do it in a controlled space, you know, within their means. But for myself, you know, I'm pretty much an all or nothing type of person. So I sort of dove into, you know, those three things: rugby, drinking, and gambling from quite a young age at 100%. But then losing Dad sort of really took the handbrake off, because it was, you know, a form of escapism through those three outlets. So yeah, I was quite an angry individual at this time, you know, and couldn't make sense of why this happened to me after, you know, everything was going pretty well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because everything was heading in that direction with you, you know, continuing to do what you love, playing rugby.
Yeah.
How did the financial side of things go in terms of like becoming an All Black, you know, being at school, a teenager, and then getting paid what All Blacks get paid? Like how much did you get paid in that kind of first season, and then consecutive seasons after that?
I remember my first ever contract got signed while I was still at school for Hawke's Bay, and it was for 20 grand for my first
while you're at school,
NPC contract, with my first year out of school. And then I was like, you know, that's pretty mean. I was trying to scab $2.50 at the tuck shop for a pie just a few months ago. So 20 grand, yeah, I'll take that. And then I managed to play really well through that first year of Hawke's Bay. So so that got pumped up, and then I made the Hurricanes that year, first year out of school as well. So obviously, you know, starting super rugby wage at that time was 65K, and then you add
so that's on top
of NPC, which you know, I think that got pumped up to 40 as well, because I played well, or 50 or whatever it was. And you know, so automatically as an 18-year-old I was on over 100K. Yeah, and you know, I had the advice that my mum could give me, and that, you know, a few others around me could give me, but as a stubborn young fella that had never had money before, I didn't really know what to do with it. And you know, had all the mates in the world, so you know, I was shouting the beers, I was shouting everything, because you know, I just wanted to be liked. And and obviously with some, you know, ongoing addiction issues at a young age, you know, I didn't really have the knowledge around money or what I was going to do with money, and that sort of continued on you know, throughout my career. And then by the time, you know, I was 19, 20 and made the All Blacks, sort of 200, 300 grand as a 19, 20-year-old. And no one could really tell me what to do. I sort of thought I knew everything, but took some heavy rock bottoms to sort of relearn and navigate a few things.
So obviously the union provides financial advice, and obviously you had family advice. Growing up, did you Did you guys talk about money at all?
No, we didn't talk about money at all, you know. We didn't have a lot of money. Like we went broke. We had everything we needed. You know, roof over our head, food in our lunchbox. We're always at rugby on time. We had our gear that we needed for sports. So we weren't broke, but we didn't have a lot of money. I remember Mum telling me a story of when we first moved to Napier, and she was looking through, you know, the old coupon book that you have for New World, and seeing what she could buy for, you know, $1 or $2 because Dad was working at this time and Mum was still finding employment in Napier. So, we didn't have a lot of money, so money wasn't really talked about a lot. We got, you know, a little bit of pocket money each week to spend on lollies or, you know, PlayStation game at the DVD shop. But, money wasn't something that we really talked about or really had knowledge of.
Interesting. Yeah, because obviously, you know, if you didn't have that kind of financial literacy background and then getting thrown, you know, 100K, 200K, man, like it's kind of like, it's a no-brainer. You know where that's going to go. It's going to get spent because you haven't had those behaviors of like, hey, no, you got to put some away. This is what we do with when money comes in, we save some.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And my mum really tried, you know, she tried setting up different accounts and double signatory accounts and all that sort of stuff. But as I said, you know, I was a young fella that thought he knew it all. And I thought, you know, the dream would probably go forever as, you know, contracts kept turning up and more money kept turning up. And I was like, right, I'll get it right this time. And then, you know, by the time I was 30, I had, I'd played my last used my last contract over in France and thought I'd duck back home and grab another one. But, you know, just wasn't the case. And, you know, people were sort of sick of me walking out on contracts. So I had to dive into the real world, which was a rude awakening.
Yeah. Crazy. What was the last contract in France? Did you complete that one?
No. So I was over there on a 2-year contract at a second div club called Nevers. But I sort of was battling a lot of demons with, you know, addiction mostly. Hadn't dealt with the grief of my dad, you know, and this was at the age of 30. So I was just using addiction as massive escapism and wasting all my money pretty much. So I come home from that contract, which was my last one, with nothing. And thought, you know, I'd come home, grab another one, but those opportunities had dried up. And then went from a $200,000 plus contract to working as a teacher aide for $19 an hour on a 20-hour contract.
Yeah, wow.
So it was, as I said, it was pretty eye-opening. And the realization that I wasn't going to be earning that rugby money anymore was a bit of a kick up the arse, to be honest.
What was the kind of lowest moment in that kind of time period?
It spiraled, like my addiction spiraled on for a few years after that. I think, you know, till I got to the age of 32, and then, you know, I ended up continuing these gambling habits and other habits that I had, and I ended up taking from my family and lying to a few close mates. So I really had to learn a hard lesson where my family went to the police, and I ended up going through the courts and put on home D. And realizing that, you know, it wasn't anyone else's fault. It was my own fault. And I really had to start tackling my demons and make a few changes, because it was either going to be, you know, jail or death, or, you know, find a few other ways to navigate my own head and relearn a few old behaviors. And that's the decision that I chose. And it's been a hard one. You know, I don't drive around the Flash Rangers anymore or, you know, hang out with a lot of my old rugby mates. So I really had to just isolate myself to get to know myself. And as I said, ditch a few old behaviors that I had. Yeah.
Was there any way that this was going to turn out any different? Like if you had a message to send yourself that could possibly have changed your course of like life.
Yeah.
What would you say to yourself then that could have possibly helped?
Probably to open my ears and eyes, because I had my blinkers on for a long time through my 20s. I thought I knew it all. I thought the money would keep coming in, but it definitely doesn't. So I think just to keep learning, like I really stopped learning through my 20s and thought rugby was everything and it'd be forever. But it's a very short part of your life. So if there are young rugby players listening, and old fellas used to come and say, rugby's only a short part of your life. Oh, whatever, it'll last forever. But it definitely doesn't. So be just to make the most of the opportunity given, because those opportunities don't last forever. But in saying that, I'm really grateful for those lessons and the hard times that I've been through, because without those lessons, I wouldn't be in a position to learn and grow and have the great people around me that I now have in my life.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And how are you today with the gambling and alcohol?
Yeah, no, I don't gamble anymore. That's something that really had a strong hold over me. Like I couldn't go a day without it, to be honest.
Yeah,
and if I did go a day without gambling, it'd feel bloody weird. Or the reason why I went a day without it was because I was broke. So it's just a massive form of escapism for me and running from all my problems. So I'm glad that's now sort of a reflection in my windscreen mirror, because it just had me totally trapped. And I was using alcohol and drugs to bury those demons and forget about stuff. Now in a space where I might have the odd drink on the odd occasion with a few close mates, but I've got to be really mindful of that as well, because I do have an addictive personality. So a big thing for me is just being really mindful and implementing the mindfulness tools I have to stay present and not get too far ahead of myself or not go too far backwards either.
Yeah, man. How have you kind of come to that point? Like, did you get counseling or rehab?
I dove deep into counseling in the last sort of 2 or 3 years in particular, and I still get therapy if not fortnightly, then weekly, because I know I need it, and I need a safe place to unpack what's going on for me. And
how did you overcome the fear of getting counseling? Because I know growing up, like for me, it was like if you get counseling, you are like seen as like there's something wrong with you, or you're like a little bit crazy. But I've found in my kind of early 20s that counseling was probably one of the best things I ever did.
For me, like I used to get sent to counselling by the New Zealand Rugby Union, and for me it was just tick a box. I'd look at my watch, but when can I be out of here? So I received counselling for 10 years on and off, and I wasn't ready. It wasn't until I was ready and I'd hit those rock bottoms, and now I really embrace it. Like I have a really close relationship with my therapist, where we pretty much talk on the daily, not so much over the phone, but through message, and I just bounce off her when I'm having a tough time, and she's always there. So it's nice to have that person outside of immediate friend groups and family. But for me, it was just to hit rock bottom, and for to get a sore enough bum from hitting rock bottom that you need to relearn, because as I said, I had my blinkers on for a long time and I don't want to learn nothing. But now I'm so open, through alternative methods of healing that I love learning now.
Man. And what's the best thing you've got out of counselling in terms of like healing those deep wounds that you kind of, I suppose, weren't aware of?
I think for me, like a big part of healing was actually knowing what's going on for me in my body and my mind, and knowing what's going on in my nervous system, and then realizing why, and then what tools I need to use to deal with that, and to regulate and to bring myself back to the present. Big thing for me is just being grateful for the small things. I try and meditate most mornings, which if you asked me a few months ago, I'd be like, you're crazy, because I've got a pretty busy brain. Just the therapy, the gym, awesome. the sauna, and the ice and shocking the body. So all that stuff just helps make me a bit more present and a better version of who I used to be. But I know, I've got to keep doing that stuff, because it does make me better. And if I stop, I'll go backwards.
Yeah. Man. Because like as Samoan Pacific Islander, like I would have no idea, like until I spoke to people who know a lot about this area, around like how the body works, how the chemicals work when you're in like a state of like fright, or like when you're afraid, or like I need to kind of run, or like or stop, like I just had no idea that that was even happening to me.
Yeah.
Like, so
I didn't know that either. I was just like, I just used to think that was a load of bullshit.
This just happened. Yeah, I know. Like, this just happens to me and I freak out in this random way.
Yeah. I was exactly the same as you, bro. Like, I just used to think, oh, that's a load of shit. It just is who I am. But yeah, as I said, rock bottom taught me a lot of things, and it just made me take my blinkers off and be adaptable and have the ability to learn again. And yes, I guess it's just starting from somewhere and giving it a go, and then you sort of grow into other areas. Like Tiger Woods wasn't the best golfer when he first picked up a golf club, but you know, practice and what we do makes perfect. And you know, sometimes I get on my knees and pray to God and ask him for help, because I know, you know, there's a higher power that that definitely helps us, and for me, it's God.
Hard. That's awesome. What would you say to someone who is looking at counselling, but skeptical, but it's, you know, it's actually going to be good for them?
Yeah, I guess if anyone is out there that's thinking about counselling, like, it might take a few times, might take a few different people until you get the right therapist. It took me 34 years, you know, to get the right person that I could connect with. And
because not everyone's going to suit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for me now, I've found, you know, the right therapist.
Cool.
You know, it really makes sense, and what she's saying to me in those sessions, you know, sort of hits home and makes me realize that, you know, I do have trauma and I do need to deal with it. And we all have different forms of trauma as well. You know, you can't compare trauma. So what I've been through to someone else is different, but really it's you know, same.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of people who come on the podcast say, you know, your health is wealth.
Yeah.
But we don't often see like mental health as being important, and like, it's been more common over the media in the last probably 10 years, but it's not like, doesn't make you wealthy. Like, people don't say that. Like, good mental well-being doesn't make you wealthy.
Yeah. It's like I was saying to a mate this morning, I'm like, man, I'm going on this podcast and they want to talk about money. I said, I'll just talk about you because you're one of the richest guys out in North Canterbury, as a joke. And he goes, nah, bro, your happiness is your wealth. So, that's a big thing for me. You know, like, I used to compare, you know, I'd lost everything and I was starting again. I'm driving a shitty car. But for me in recent times, you know, it's just been really grateful for the small wins. And I know, you know, if you stack up those small wins, then it'll add value in other areas of life as well. So just really grateful for what I have at the moment rather than what I might have used to have, and just trying to stay focused and clear.
Nice. If you're serious about buying your first home, make sure you check out the First Home Buyers Masterclass. In this masterclass, we take you through the whole home buying journey, from getting pre-approved, finding your property, to settling. This will take out a lot of the confusion and make your home buying journey a lot easier. Make sure you check out the link below for our masterclass. You had a lot of, I suppose, financial losses. Did you have any financial wins throughout that time? Like, did you get into home ownership or anything like that?
As I said, I was kind of a bit like naive and oblivious. I bought a house when I was down here playing for the Crusaders over in Northwood. You know, I had a few nice cars at times. I had nice cars that sponsors were giving me to use. But what I realized was that material stuff didn't really mean anything to me, because I was so unhappy within myself. You know, all the material things, they didn't really add any value to my life. And so I definitely dipped my toes in sort of the housing market and stuff like that. But yeah, as I said, I was naive. Like, all the guys around me were getting into rest homes and daycares, like at the Crusaders. I'm like, what are you doing that for? But yeah, it's something, you know, I'd like to build going into the future once I get fully back on my feet. But as I said, I'm now in a position to learn, and I can hopefully grasp those opportunities if they come up in the future.
It sounds like you've taken an opportunity, like in the last couple of years, you've been building up your own business. Yeah,
we started out.
Tell me a bit about that.
Myself and I'll go back to the start. So 3 years ago, I got offered an opportunity down here to work in recruitment. It was when I was learning a pretty harsh lesson in life. I got placed on Home D, and I was grateful for the opportunity to get into recruitment, but I didn't know what it was. I said, what's recruitment? All I know is rugby, and you know, I love helping people. And so I sort of fell into that role in recruitment, and I've always loved helping people.
Cool.
So it really helped me find a purpose again.
Nice.
And then I worked for them for 6 months to a year, and I sort of thought, we can maybe start our own business. So I got, a few of the boys were talking what I thought was a bit of cucka one night when they were having a few beers, and I was the sober guy, and my good mate, Scotty Brightwell, now in business with, he said, I've got 25K that I can help you start a business with.
True.
So yeah, they were drinking, I was sober, and I wrote it down in my notes on my phone. And then when I woke up the next day, I called him and I said, "Are you serious about that?" He's like, "Yep." So we started our own labour hire company called Guildford & Co Limited 2 years ago.
Awesome.
And now we've got anywhere between 30 and 40 staff at any one time and in position for growth. So yeah, we started with next to nothing, and we got some real cool core values that we live by. And as I said, we've got a really big heart for people. So we've got a personal approach, and our staff members become whānau, and we've got some really awesome key clients that support our business.
Nice.
So yeah, myself, Scotty Brightwell, and Jacob Skilling, we run that business, and it really fills our purpose in terms of putting kai on other people's plates, giving ourselves a lifestyle that we can live and connecting with some really good people in the business world.
Man. So how does it work? So people who are looking for roles, and what kind of areas?
So we're in the trade sector. So our big sectors are sort of the civil, construction, demolition, transport and logistics. You've got your truck drivers, warehouse workers, forklift operators. Anything in the trade sector we sort of provide for them.
And then you help place them into employment.
Yeah. So we'll place them into employment, and they might work with us for, it could be any period of time. It could be as low as 3 months, and then they'll go permanent with the client. Or, we've got some guys that have been on our books since day one. So yeah, it's really, really rewarding getting to see people succeed and then support them in their employment journey, but also pay them every week and see them grow and succeed, and then be able to pay them more once, they get further training and skills that we also put them through. So I love my job, and it's probably more rewarding than being an All Black, to be honest.
Yeah, awesome. Man, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. What have you learnt about business, running your own business?
Oh man, I've learned a lot. It's hard to pinpoint one or two things, but business for me is all about connecting with people. It's massive in networking and getting out there and putting yourself into discomfort. Because it's easy when you're on the rugby field and you got 15 other guys supporting you, but when there's only one or two or three of you in our case in business, and you're heading to these client meetings with guys that could come across as daunting, and you got to throw yourself in the deep end because there's pressure on to get more work. But it's a really rewarding space to be in. Business can be pretty hard though, especially in our current market or what we've been through. Because
unemployment's up.
And post the COVID boom, and now where we are now, the change of government and a lot of uncertainty. It's been sort of a survive rather than thrive type of market. But we are noticing that the market's starting to pick up slowly. Which allows us to give more people more opportunities, which we really love. It's a pretty tough world out there, but it's a really rewarding one if you can stay at it and be consistent at the same time.
Awesome. What are some of the kind of key highlights or stories that stand out to you from people you've placed in places? We've sort of got a 360 lens in who we employ. So generally we'll employ, the best person who applies for our role, whether that be on Seek or word of mouth or Trade Me or, we interlink with MSD and corrections as well. So, we've got a lot of avenues where we get our employees from, but we've got a few guys who've been through a pretty rough time, who've approached us for employment. We've got a couple of 501s who have managed to place with our clients in permanent employment, and just seeing those guys, from, where they were in Australia, having been sent home and now really thriving in their roles and off our books. We still catch up with them, but, seeing them grow from, they might start on $24 an hour, now they're on $30 an hour, and they got a company vehicle and they can buy their family cars, and they're having kids awesome. And, they're getting their own homes. It's like, those are the rewarding stories and why we stay in it, even though, the fight in the business world does get tough. Eventually the flow comes and you see success stories like that. And some guys who probably couldn't get jobs, and
being able to keep them employment for a year, 2 years, and seeing the reward that money brings them is also is why we do the work.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that's awesome.
Mm.
What's your vision for the company going forward?
Vision for the company going forward is we're pretty much predominantly based in Canterbury. So it'd be to branch off into other areas of New Zealand, mainly so we can help more people, and so we can grow our knowledge around business and connect with more key clients and businesses, and learn more. So we'd like to branch out through the rest of the country eventually, and bring more people on in the HR space, and then eventually, just really help more people and help them reach their dreams, because without money, there's not a lot of freedom for our people out there.
Yeah, hard. How important is like you keep bringing it up, like purpose? Like, how important is that purpose to you in the business, but to you kind of personally?
Purpose is massive. I feel, when I didn't have purpose, or when I lost purpose, like when the rugby dream was over, I just fell into, a black hole or cloud, and you're sort of, like a fish swimming upstream. So for me, it's really important to have purpose in life. And for me, that's in my work and through the coaching I do in rugby, and through the close friends I have in my life, the new relationship I'm in. So it's all, I guess, purpose gives you drive. It gives you motivation to wake up in the morning, and it makes you hungrier for, I guess, more success.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Broken movement. What's that all about, and how did you get involved?
So my good mate who I'm in business in Guildford with, Jacob Skilling, he started a few would have been 4 or 5 years ago. And I got down here and sort of thought, I love the mental health space and worked in it previously until I hit a rock bottom, and reached out to a mutual friend and said I'd love to be involved. So I got involved through Jacob in that. Cool. And how did we start? We started by running. I lost a good friend over in Perth, and it really motivated me to create something where we could fundraise for him and his whānau.
Yeah.
And we ended up running 6 marathons on treadmills one day.
What?
Yeah, there was like a massive group of us, and who supported that event. Like, we split up the marathons into teams. One guy, Farron, did it himself on the treadmill.
Whoa.
And it was a really great day. I think we raised around 11,000, and
nice.
helped bring Paddy's ashes back from Perth.
Wow.
So whānau could have him home. Cool. We've managed to create programs over the last 3 years in wānanga spaces where we help men deal and heal from historical trauma. It's just a big part of giving back, but unfortunately with the new government, the sort of funding's dried up, so we've had to, I see. Place most of our energy into the recruitment space, where we still run a heavily pastoral care system for our employees.
Cool.
So we might not be able to give back in that space just yet, but through Guildford, we're able to give back and really care for our people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're kind of building all those like connections and bringing people together. Is flipping like awesome to see. Yeah. Like how does like connection? How important is connection and like people's kind of healing from addiction? Or
connection's massive. For me, when I was going through my addiction stuff for years, I lost all that connection. And the connection I had was with drugs, alcohol, or gambling, and it's definitely not a wholesome connection that I'd advise anyone to go down in their life. So, connection through community, whānau, even connection to self, connection to a higher power, whatever that kind of connection might look like. Just need to find it for anyone out there struggling. And I guess, there's so much pressure on us in society to, get out there and earn a living and technology, and we put pressure on ourselves. It's like sometimes we lose that connection, put our blinkers on, all we focus on is work. So, even for me, it's just a balancing act between work, relationships, and the stuff that still gives me joy, like rugby and sport, to really stay connected to self, community, higher power, or and those support networks out there.
Yeah, man. Like I know, like I have an addiction part of me as well. Like, I can get super focused and laser in on a obsession. I can get obsessed about a certain thing.
Yeah.
Or like my work, or crafting, even thinking about the podcast and doing this. I'll just be like, oh man, I want it to look like this, and then I'll be in this like haze when my wife's talking to me. I'm like, oh, sorry, what did you say?
Yeah. I can relate.
Like because there is a good side to it, right? Like, how do we can take the good side of like the addiction, like the I suppose the passion for me, it's trying to craft this and trying to make it the best that I can do with the resources that I have. Is like, I just want to make it good. Like, how do we use that for our good, our own personal good?
Yeah. For me, it was a journey. Like, I got diagnosed with ADHD. It would have been 3 or 4 years ago. And up until that point, I just thought I was a bit of a dick, I didn't understand myself. I was like, why do I do these things, And the doctors would say I'm depressed, but I knew I wasn't naturally depressed. It was coming from somewhere. When I got diagnosed with ADHD, it made a lot of sense, It helped me make a lot of peace, because I was one of those guys that would start something, well, I still am to a certain extent, and then want to be the best at it straight away,
Yes.
But what you're talking about before, I guess it's baby steps, because no one's ever the best or a professional at something when they start straight away. Right. So it's baby steps at becoming better and slowly working towards that goal, and then getting the balance that'll help feed that goal with happiness. But it's definitely a journey, and something I still struggle with, because I'd love to have 100 employees now, but it's just
True.
That's not not how it is. So it's about, I guess, making peace with if we are addicted to something, and realizing that that you need balance in life as well.
Man. How do you also share like your story now, with guys you're mentoring or helping, get roles or jobs, you're placing them? How do you share your story with them to help them?
I'm not brutally, I'm really, I wouldn't say I'm a boss. Like, I see myself as more as a mate and a mentor, and someone that's always there to help and guide.
Nice.
So I don't really tell our staff off as such, even though I probably should sometimes. I've got a big heart for the people, so I try and I guess offer areas in my life where I've gone wrong, and just be honest with them around what I think they can do better. Like, we've got a few young guys working for us that only 17, 18, and probably lack a few male role models in their life.
Sure.
So I just reflect back to times where I might have gone wrong and compare it to their story. Just say, look, I did this, so I kind of might know, but at the same time, I know it's their journey, and for them to learn as well.
Yep.
So just with honesty and transparency, I'm a pretty open book these days, and I still make a few mistakes myself, but it's I can tend to bounce back and learn from them when I didn't used to.
Yeah, awesome. If you could go back and give 20-year-old Zac some advice, or some words of wisdom, or even some words of care, like, what would you say to him?
It's a tricky one. 20-year-old me, I know he had no ears, so it's hard to give advice to that guy. But I'll probably just give him a hug and let him know that he's loved, and that his dad's proud of him, and that things are going to be okay. But for me, I really had to go on that journey. So advice at that age, I wasn't open to. I thought I knew it all. So I'd probably, just really give him a hug and let him know to embrace the journey, and not everything's going to be perfect, but to have the ability to learn, because if you're learning at 20, it's a lot easier than learning at 30, 40 or 50. So just to know that as a young guy, we don't know it all, and the journey might be rough, but the sooner we can open our eyes and ears and to learn from good people around us, the easier that journey will be.
Man, so good. Looking back now, what would you say was your most proudest moment on the rugby field?
Oh, my proudest moment was definitely making my All Blacks debut at Wales in front of, I think it was like 60 or 70,000 people.
Insane.
Cardiff, yeah. So that was a proud moment. I had my mum and auntie in the stands. And my whole whānau back home was supporting me. So, yeah, I'd have to say my All Blacks debut, like that was a special moment. And, it was, I think, 4 or 5 months after Dad died. So I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I did it for him. And that was pretty cool and a moment of relief because I knew he would have been so proud.
Man, that's so good.
Yeah.
And for you now, what does, I suppose, living a financially well life, what does that look like to you now?
And for me now, like I look at money so differently compared to how I used to. Like I've still got that bit of impulsivity in me because I have ADHD, but it doesn't go all on beers these days, or it doesn't go to the TAB, which is nice to say.
Yes.
Or it doesn't go on drugs. So I can look at, a $50 note and realize, that can do a lot of things for me, or look at a $100 note and be grateful for that. Whereas in the past, 10 grand wasn't enough to look at and be grateful for. So just to know that, I'm still working back from my past and that, I need to look after my money because, I'm paying back some debt that I racked up. And I know, money is important because it pays the rent. It puts food on the table. And I'm grateful for the small things I can go out and do. I can, now go out and be not so stressed about, having to pay for going out for dinner or something like that. So it's, just nice to have things a little bit more balanced. But I'm still a little way off, but I sort of have made peace with that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And what are you doing, outside of work now to, I suppose, provide more of a balance to your life?
In terms of
like, your coaching,
and
you, I suppose meditation, and exercise.
Yeah, so I just used to think that the gym was the only thing that could fix me, but now I incorporate a lot of things. I still go to the gym, 4 or 5 times a week, which is still probably more than the average individual over at Recreate Performance just up the road.
Awesome.
That's a massive healing space for me. Like there's a good community there. I also, obviously meditate. I've got other support groups. I go away on retreats every so often where I dive deep into self for a week. Got a new relationship that I cherish. I got a few close friends that I really love and cherish. When I have to, I should do it more often. I get on my knees and pray to God and ask Him for help.
Man.
And business as well. It's a big part of keeping my purpose and myself afloat because, it helps me pay off my debt. It helps me be able to do a few nice things that I can do in life and, helps pay the rent. So, the business is a major pillar in what I do and keeps me focused and sane and looking at the laptop for hours on end deals to that ADHD that's always lingering. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You touched on the kind of spiritual side of things. Like, has that always been part of your life?
Yeah, I've always believed in God.
Always
prayed before every game. Probably when, got a bit bitter and realized, why isn't God helping me through my addiction phases? But he does put us through trials and tribulations so we can get to the best version of ourselves. And I believe all my trials have been down to the fact so I could find a better version of me. And and I'm still getting there, but I'm definitely on the way. So my family's big in faith and the close mates I have, they believe and preach the same message I do. So I wouldn't say I'd say I'm an achievable Christian rather than perfect. Yeah.
Well, I don't think there is anything like a perfect Christian.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the journey.
Yeah, 100%.
And it just, everyone's at different parts of that journey.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when people hear your name, what do you hope they remember kind of going forward?
I used to really worry about that, what people think. I really isolated myself for a lot of time there because I've been through some really tough times. The perception out there of me probably wasn't the greatest at times and probably still isn't the greatest in some people's minds. But I really made peace with the fact that it only really matters what I think because at the end of the day, no one else is going to make me happy. The only person who can is myself and probably those really close mates around me that stick by you through the times when they do get hard. But I guess when I reflect on it, I'd just like people to think that I'm a good bugger who loves helping people, and now he's in a better space, can sort of turn up for those good people that he has around him.
So good. So good, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I'm just going to ask you my final question that I ask all my guests. What does wealth mean and look like to you?
What does wealth mean and look like to me? For me, my mate, Scotty Beckinsale, nailed it on the head this morning. He said, your wealth is your happiness. So for me, it's being happy and content within self, and knowing that I'm not trapped through addiction, and that I'm free to live the life that I want to live. Awesome. And there's a lot of things that go into playing part in being happy, but money's one of them. Relationships is another. I still love rugby, so that's another. My business is a big part of it, and my close brothers that I have around me. So I guess a few of those things are key pillars into happiness and what I consider wealth.
Man, awesome, Zac. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I wish you, your business, your whānau, all the very best for the future. Bless you, bro. Bless you.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Bless you too.